Talk presented to you by Top Sports News. I am your host, Caleb Jennerat, back again for the second day in a row with my co-host, as always, Isaac Deer. Isaac, long time no see.
Long time no see. It's been the longest 25 hours ever, buddy. How are you, man?
I am doing just as well as I was yesterday. I did
Oh,
have to work today, so maybe a little bit more
mm,
tired and a little bit more
yeah.
done for the day. But hey, anytime you get to talk about some prep sports, it excites me. It excites me.
Yeah,
So
right. Yeah.
want to thank our gold sponsors, as always, Invista Credit Union and the Family Guidance Center and the University of Kansas Health System St. Francis campus for continuing to sponsor Top Sports News. Also want to shout out the ticker, as I did yesterday. You guys know it. Go on the site, put in the scores, put in the results. Everyone wants to know them. We want to know them. So keep using that. It's a great tool. Isaac, you got anything else?
Got a lot to get to, man. Let's get right
Yeah,
to it.
we do. All right, we're going to start with track, boys track. And forewarning, we're not going to mention everyone. I mean, there is a ton to talk about in track. I mean, there's events, there's runners, throwers, jumpers. I mean, there's a ton. So if we
Right.
don't get to you, don't worry. We'll talk about you. We'll get to you eventually. Just maybe not in this episode. So yeah,
Right.
getting right into it. We'll start with Hayden. The Hayden boys will miss its historically great graduated senior distance runner Tanner Newkirk, who is now running at KU, but will bring back a ton of key athletes that helped this team place third at state last year.
Yeah, Tanner Newkirk, obviously one of the state's greatest runners ever. Definitely will miss that guy. You know, if he was a mile, if he was running the 2 mile, he was a mile ahead of the second person behind him. It was crazy. I miss watching that guy run, but yeah, bringing a lot back though, for a team that was knocking on the doorstep to getting first place as a team, had a lot of guys on the podium. Hayden's in really good shape this year, man. We could start out with the state champion and Jensen Strickle. Jensen won a state championship last year in the long jump, and he also took seventh in the 400 meter. Pretty diverse there. I know they got really good relay teams as well, which we'll get to. Jake Moeller, basketball guy. Well, Jensen Strickle, football guy, but Jake Moeller, basketball guy. We know him. He won a pair of medals at state last year as well. He took first in the prelims in the 300 hurdles, but barely lost in the finals of the 300 hurdles. He took a second place finish there, and he also took a seventh place finish in the 110 hurdles. So, big jump guy there. Big jump guy. Hayden also gets a couple of dude throwers back as well. JC Cummings, he took a 10th place finish in the javelin last year at state. And Big Joe Wadding, Big Joe, we know and love Big Joe. He took a 12th place finish in the shot put. I think he qualified for discus as well. You mentioned it a second ago. A lot of names, a lot of events. We're trying to get to it, but I think he also qualified in discus. Then their 4x4 team, 4x400 team, took third at state with a time of 3 minutes and 29 seconds and 93. Here we go again. Here we go again. Anyways, we're gonna skip past that 329.93. Jake Muller's back. Jetson Trickle is back, and Ethan and Florence are back. Ryan Rockford was on that team last year, but he graduated. So that is a good that is a lot of optimism for DeJuan Gardenhire and the Hayden boys team.
Yeah, 100%. And then we're going to talk about one of the best pure athletes in Kansas this year, maybe ever. You know his name.
Yeah.
We know him. You know him. Returning state champ, Trey Richardson.
You know the champ. We know him. Your mom knows him. Your grandpa knows him. Your great grandma knows him. Everybody knows who Trey Rich is. Trey Richardson won the 200-meter dash last year with a time of 22.32. He was runner up in the state finals in triple jump as well. And he took a fifth place finish in the triple jump at state. I mean, good Lord, man. That is crazy. Three top five finishes in three different events. It doesn't get much better than that. And fastest, most athletic dude gets one more in the state of Kansas, gets one more crack at it this year. I know the Highland Park boys graduated a couple key pieces from that team last year. But man, you got to be optimistic about your chances this year, especially if you have Trey at the forefront there. And they're going to have a really good team too. I've been doing a lot of research on who can be coming back and who can't. But yeah, Trey Richardson obviously headlining that group for obvious reasons. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for this Highland Park boys team.
Yeah, sure. Trey Richardson is going to get plenty of coverage this season, as he has gotten plenty of coverage this entire year. But he deserves it. The man's a beast. Topeka
Yep.
West should be in store for a good season. The boys tied for 19th in the 5A state championship last year, and will definitely look to finish higher with its key returners.
Absolutely. And we talk about Trey Richardson headlining Highland Park. Let's talk about Lenny Narogi headlining Topeka West. We talked a lot about him in the fall for cross country. Great track runner, obviously. Distance. I don't know if you took a guess there, but distance is his thing. Lenny took a fourth place finish at state last year in the 2 mile. And he also took a 10th place finish in the 1 mile. They also get a couple state qualifiers back as well with Alisco Batson. He returns running the 300 hurdles and jumping the triple jump. And Caleb Nunu, basketball guy, he competes in the high jump coming back. So the boys 4x400 team took an 11th place finish overall at state last year. I think they just didn't escape the prelims. But yeah, there's some really good boys coming back to this Charger team. The spring sports for Topeka West are going to be really, really good this year. I'm pretty optimistic about that. But this track team, this Topeka West track team is going to be really good.
Yeah, for sure. And then wrapping up the boys track with the Shawnee Heights boys, who get a trio of state placers back in the mix for the 2023 season, and looking to do pretty good things this year.
Absolutely. When I think about Shawnee Heights, I think about Jordan Garvin, soccer star. I covered a lot of his games in the last 2 falls, and he's just as good at track as he is soccer. Garvin, he took a 4th place finish in the 300 hurdles last year with a 40.68 mark, which is pretty good. Can't imagine running and jumping at the same time and getting it done in 40 seconds, especially 300 meters. That's big time there. That's big time there, Mr. Garvin. Jackson Esquivel will be back as well. Took a 6th place finish in the 2 mile, and he finished 9th place at state in the 1 mile. So that's a great return to have back. And Maddox Moten, he was a state qualifier as well in shot put, and he should be back as well. So a great trio there returning to the Thunderbirds. I might be missing some names from the relay teams for each, but man, they got a good group coming back. Shawnee Heights, yeah, we'll be on the lookout for them, especially.
Yeah, excited to watch them this year. Moving on to the girls' side of track. Take a breather. On to the next one. Hayden will return a couple of key athletes from a state run last year and looks to take a huge leap forward with the studs they bring back.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you think about kind of the oh man, just missed it by an inch last year. Bella Reed for Hayden is one of the school's best runners that they have. Um, I think she finished with a 16.51 in the 100 hurdles at regionals last year. She placed 5th overall at regionals and just was 1 spot away from qualifying for state. I think she's poised to have a big season this year. And she also, as well as that, she has the school record in the 100 hurdles. So I imagine that what's on her mind is taking that step forward and qualifying for state this year. And the Hayden girls also get back Natalie Hillibert. She returns after a 3rd place finish in the 400 meter dash at the 4A state championship with a 1 minute, 1 second, and the 0.49 time, baby. That's what she should be back with the vengeance this year. Should be fun to watch. But yeah, Hayden girls, they're looking pretty good too.
Mm-hmm. And you know the Highland Park star that we already talked about, Trey Richardson, but you need to get familiar with another Highland Park star, Victoria Reed, because she is another state placer and she's going to be back again this year.
Yeah, Victoria Reed is she has a lot of accolades with her, and I think last year she was a 5A state champion in the 400 meter dash. 58 seconds, man. That's unheard of. 5A state champion in the 400. Also took a 6th place finish in the 200 meter dash at state. So Victoria Reed, you get a couple state champions back on your team, one for the boys, one for the girls. Good on you, Highland Park. That's awesome. I'm excited to see what Victoria Reed and a bunch of those good Highland Park athletes do this year. I think that track team as a whole, the girls team and the guys team, is poised to have a big year.
Topeka West girls return at least 3 more state qualifiers for the upcoming season, and it's going to be a good one for them as well.
Should definitely be exciting for that squad for sure. They get a pair of triple jumpers back who both had top 10 finishes at the 5A state meet last year. I know Mackenzie Jones took a 4th place finish, while Chantel Phillips took a 9th place finish. They're both seniors this year, and they both finished top 10 last year in the triple jump category. So good for them. I imagine they probably want to do the same this year. Elijah Brooks as well. She will return as a state qualifier. Just missed out on the prelims, but she qualified for both the 100, or missed out on the finals. She was in the prelims. She qualified for both the 100 and the 200 meter races. So that's 3 really good athletes that Topeka West is fortunate to bring back.
Yeah, for sure. Man, triple jump is just so tough. The coordination that takes and the athleticism. Man,
So,
I could.
that is the most dangerous game of hopscotch in the world.
Right, right. And the fact that they can jump so far off one leg. I mean, I
Right.
guess. Yeah, one leg, right? It's because it goes same. The other one. Yeah.
Yeah. I've had a cramp before on one leg rolling off the couch to go get another cosmic brownie. It happens,
There you
man.
go. Same
Um,
thing.
Pure athleticism starts somewhere. So
There you go.
yeah, triple jump, hard event. If you have 2 triple jumpers that both qualify for the state championship, pretty awesome stuff.
Pretty impressive. Pretty impressive for sure. Shawnee Heights has a complete squad coming back for the 2023 season that helped him finish 11th as a team last year in the 5A state championship. So dangerous team to look out for.
Absolutely. You think about this particular track team this year. Tamaja Nichols will be back after taking a 2nd place finish in the 100 meter dash. I think Tamaja Nichols also ran that 4x100 team as well. Took a 2nd place finish there. Taylor Rottinghouse, senior 3-sport athlete who's committed to Washburn for volleyball, will be back as well. Rottinghouse was a state qualifier in the 200 meter dash and ran on that 4x100 team that had a runner-up finish in the 5A state championship. So that 4x100 team, I think, is bringing back quite a bit, and their relay teams as a whole, as well as the guys. I think the guys team as well are bringing back some really good relay members on their team. But yeah, Shawnee Heights, they had some really strong performances at the 5A state track meet last year. Most of those girls and guys are back for another year. So this girls team in particular, though, that finished 11th last year, be on the lookout because most of them are back this year.
Yeah. It's always good to get nearly your whole team back. I mean, you saw it this year with a bunch of basketball teams. You saw it with Silver Lake. You saw it with Seaman. I mean, you saw how they did the rest of the season. So it's always good to get your team back. Seaman's girls is who we're going to wrap it up with, who finished 16th at state last year and will be in good shape to make it back with another, yet again, good team.
Yes, a lot of good girls teams are poised to make another run at it. They got a state champion as well in Bethany Druce, well-known distance runner. Druce won a state title, or distance, I guess sprint. Distance for me, sprint for everybody else. So that 800 meter, I guess that was that mid distance, 800 meters.
Kind of weird. It's kind of weird. It's kind of right in the middle. Not weird.
Yeah.
I don't want to say it's weird, but it's
2
kind of
laps, right?
2 laps. 2 laps. Yeah. Imagine sprinting 2 laps. I know some people can do it. I don't know if I could sprint 200 meters without dying.
You know who can do it? Bethany Druce. She can do it, but she won a state title in the sprint/distance. The 800 meter dash was her thing. 2 minutes and 19 seconds flat. There's no 0.01, no 0.02. It was 2 minutes and 19 seconds flat. But that won her a state title in the 800 meter dash. Good on you, Bethany Druce. And a few other athletes to mention for Seaman. Talked about her literally on yesterday's episode because she's doing one of the other sports that we talked about. But Taylor Stahlbomber, 4-sport athlete, Taylor Stahlbomber, who we talk about a lot. She could be back running the 100 hurdles. Took a fifth place finish last year in the 100 hurdles and was on the 4x400 team that took an eighth place finish at the 5A state championship last year. And then get a really good pair of senior throwers back as well. Allie Trier, she placed 13th in the javelin throw, and Anna Doman finished 13th in the shot put. So you get a couple of those key throwers back as well. I think the Seaman group's in really good shape, boys and girls. But yeah, that's pretty stacked list coming back for you for another year.
Yeah, shout out to the Vikings. Man, we are just rolling, so I'm just going to keep going. We got baseball. Rossville coming back really strong, looked incredible last year. The Dogs were the number 1 seed in their regionals last year, but lost in the semifinal round. Shout out my alma mater, Santa Fe Trail, by the way. No hate to you, Rossville, but hey,
Hey,
go Chargers.
go Chargers.
They did lose some guys like Caden Brown, Corey Catrone, Aiden Garcia, Brody Leitz, and Tori Horak, but they're able to bring a few key guys back this season.
Man, they're gonna hate you after that. But yeah, man, great team last year. We're consistently in that top 10 of 3A, 19-win season, not too shabby, fellas, at all. They lose a big group. Caden Brown, Corey Catcher, and Aiden Garcia, Brody Leeds, and Tori Horak. That's a really good group. But they also bring back some guys like Cade Pirine, really, really good player. Camden Horak, really, really good player. And they both got pretty significant time on the diamond last year. They'll kind of bank on that leadership and what they bring to the table. Avery Crosswhite and sophomore Seth Catron and Tayson Horak got plenty of innings last year. They should be back for this season as well. So this Rossville team could be pretty good yet again. So that should definitely be fun to watch.
Yeah, whenever you have a Horak on your team, you know you're going to be pretty talented, especially when you're from Rossville. Historically, Seaman has always been good at baseball, for sure in the last couple of decades, and they've been to the state tournament now 18 times in a row with 9 state titles. Last year's 20-3 team wasn't any different. They lose the likes of McLean Finley, Dagan Brewer, Braden Coley, Mason McConaughey, and Aiden Poulter, but they are more than equipped to make another run with the team that they have back.
Absolutely. And when I think about what this team in particular is going to bring to the table this year, the first name that comes to my head automatically is Bryson Vaughter, senior, gigantic human being, by the way. If you ever shake his hand, he will break your wrist. He'll break your fingers because that dude is just a beefcake, bro. This guy is awesome. Older brother played college baseball. He's bound to play college baseball as well. He'll be one of the top pitchers in the entire state. All classes coming out. Vaughter brings the juice on the hill, as I just mentioned, but he was a first-team All-Stater, first-team All-League guy, first-team All-County pitcher, DH, and pitcher of the year. And he's just a beast on the hill and at the plate. Then they also bring back K-State commit and sophomore Max Huston. He definitely has one of the highest upsides as a two-way player in the state. I think he touches over 80 on the bump, and at the plate, he's just phenomenal. He's one of the most dangerous infielders in the state. He can play anywhere, it seems like, outfield, infield, wherever you want to put him. He's awesome at the right-handed side of the plate. And Seaman also brings back Cameron Selbach, Scout Jellison, Holden Finley. They'll kind of return to help claim the UKC crown for the first time after being in the Centennial League last year. So as new members, sorry for the rest of the UKC, but Siemens arrived. It's not going to be easy. Yeah, it's not going to be easy for sure.
If you didn't know,
Yeah.
man, if we're talking about best athletic programs as a whole, I don't know if Washburn Rural is number 1, but dang, they are up there, and no different in baseball this year. I mean, they're going to be legit. They didn't graduate a ton of players. That senior class was very talented, but they have a legit gold mine this year. They will be one of the most complete teams on the mound and at the plate. The Junior Blues made it to the final day of the state tournament, but fell short to the eventual state champion, Blue Valley West, and then they won the 3rd place games. Most of the guys will be back. So, yeah. I mean,
They were just fell short last year too. I mean, just if it seems like every athletic team from Washburn Rural has either been winning state titles or they've been the runner up. They've been
Right
really
there.
close.
It's right there.
Bad news for everybody that doesn't like Washburn Rural. They're going to be right there again. Let's start off with the Twin Towers, baby. Max and Sam Bettis, the twins, the 6'5" K-State commits, both of them. Were combined 3-1 on the hill last year, 36 strikeouts and a little over 30 innings pitched. They were just freshmen last year too, and I imagine they will take a step forward at being 6'5". That's always fun as a hitter. But they got 3 more seasons left at high school, which is crazy. And they're not alone. So you get those two really, really good pitchers committed to a pretty good baseball school at K-State. Junior Blues have at least 3 more pitchers to watch out for on the top of my head, at least. Senior Zach Sharshall, he pitched 26 innings a season ago, finished with a 3-2 record, and I think he notched 35 strikeouts by himself. Cloud County commit Caleb Welshier was 3-0 a season ago, 16 innings pitched, but had 29 strikeouts. And Colin Redeker, he's a junior, did some really nice stuff on the mound last year, got some innings in on the hill. He was 1-0, and he'll be a spark out of that bullpen, and he is a really good hitter at the plate as well. So he's a nice two-way player to kind of complement that team. And then, when you're talking about the plate, they got some pure menaces at the plate, man. And head coach Jay Maston has to be psyched about it. Start off with Kyle Walker. He's a junior committed to Barton County. I think he had a 474 batting average last year, 37 hits, 15 RBIs, 11 stolen bases, 41 runs a year ago. He's a great defender as well. Has some serious pop, nice exit velo. I mean, he's just a really good player. Kyle Walker is one of the best. And he's just poised to have another good year. Just a junior as well. So 2 more seasons left of Kyle Walker playing baseball. Pretty happy about that. And what else? Oh yeah, Ty Weber, our friend of the show, Ty Weber, Washington football commit, super senior. Well, he's the super duper cool. I meant like he's
a super. He's a super good senior.
It's not. Yeah,
this is his 5th year.
No, it's not. But that I was just saying super senior as he's super good at stuff. Okay, it didn't mean like he's like me who's been at college since whatever. But now Ty Weber's back, baby. He's got the power, man. He's got the power at the plate. He's a wall at first base. 447 average last year, 17 hits, a couple of long dongs, and 26 RBIs and 19 runs as well. He's just a cool, calm, collected baseball player. You gotta like it. Also, keep your eyes on Dayton Smoot, who had a big season a year ago, and Adam Johnson, who is the masked man behind the plate, not named the umpire. So that means he's the catcher. Those two were really good at the baseball thing last year. It should be really good at the baseball thing this year. So, yeah, Washburn Rural in a nutshell. Really, really good.
As always. Yep. I want to let everybody know we're not biased towards Washburn Rural at all. They're just really good.
No.
They're just really good. There's nothing we can do.
Nothing we can do about it.
Sorry. Moving on to Shawnee Heights. The Shawnee Heights baseball team is looking to get back in the state tournament after going 13-10 last season, getting the number 7 seed, as it was their first appearance since 2018 when they finished 3rd in state and won the UKC League title, with Coach Ryan Schmidt being named Coach of the Year.
Absolutely. And that team graduated some really good players too. Trevor Shadley really pitched well last year, and Caden Walker, big slugger for them. He graduated as well, but they get some good players back. They get some really, really good players back, which I'm excited for. Eric Smith's back, Nick Perez is back, Jacob Malcolm's back, and our guy Deacon Pomeroy is back this year. And I keep hearing things about every time I go to a basketball game or a football game I have to go cover at Shawnee Heights. Whenever I'm in the birdcage or out at Jason Swift's palace out on that football field, everybody talks about Deacon Pomeroy. Why do they talk about Deacon Pomeroy? Because he loves baseball, man. This guy eats and sleeps baseball. The guy's in the cage every single day, working his tail off to become just a phenomenal player. And so far, his freshman year last year, I think he might have been a first team all county guy. Um, he does some great stuff with travel ball as well. I know Deacon Pomeroy is a complete baseball player. Um, and he'll be up there as one of the best already as a sophomore. So be on the lookout for Deacon, man. That guy is a complete stud. Shawnee Heights, those players I named before Deacon, really, really good as well. This is going to be a great team. And with Seaman up there at the UKC, I think that that's going to be 1 and 2 right there, even with tough teams like DeSoto and Baser Linwood. And you think about the other tough teams of the UKC, those two are going to be could be 1A, 1B. But Siemens going to be hard to beat. But with the team that Shawnee Heights does have, I'm curious to see what their pitching looks like. But I think Shawnee Heights is going to be set, man.
Yeah, for sure. And man, we are just rolling. I don't know how long we've been doing this, but we are on our last sport, guys. Moving on to softball. Rossville bringing back a fairly identical roster this year that took them to the state tournament last year. They won 21 games last season and took fourth place in the 3A state tournament. So shout out to the Dogs.
Shout out to the Dogs, man. Yeah, unlike the baseball team where Caleb had to celebrate his Santa Fe Trail Chargers doing some stuff.
Well, I mean, if you didn't know, I think Santa Fe Trail beat them in that third and fourth place games, though. To the Chargers.
Dang, I did not know that. Dang. All right. Anyways,
Oh
my Santa Fe
man, I'm so
Trail
sorry. I'm
fellows,
so sorry, guys. I'm so sorry, Rossville.
don't overlook Overbrook. Where are you in Overbrook, Carbondale, or
I was an
Scranton?
Overbrook guy. I was an Overbrook guy for sure.
Yeah,
Don't
don't
overlook
overlook
that stuff.
Overbrook. Great Casey's right next to the mud track, baby.
True.
Yeah, man. You mentioned it. 21 games won a season ago. They had that fourth place finish in the 3A state tournament. Brindley Dyche, Emma Mitchell, Kinley Porter, Kinsey Pirine, Nagos Hales, and Ryan Leathers all back with this great team. But those names I just mentioned were all terrific a season ago, and Brindley Dyche can really sling it in the circle. Kinsey Pirine had multiple 2+ home run games last year, and they're going to be probably one of the best and most complete teams in the entire class, returning if most to almost all those players last week, last year. They had a great pitcher, Vanessa Quinones. She was kind of their one really good pitcher. I mean, not signaling out anybody else. She's like the main. She was the ace. Yes, she
Right.
was the ace. They're gonna miss her, but Brindley Dyche can really sling it from the circle, so they'll be good. I think Rossville will definitely be back in contention this upcoming year, and don't be surprised if they make some noise here.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Seaman also had a terrific season last year, winning 17 games with a roster that was pretty loaded from top to bottom. They do lose some significant players from that team, but they're also returning some pretty good players as well.
Yeah, senior Aspen Burgard's back. She'll be one of the top players, I think, in the entire UKC this upcoming season. At the plate, complete player. As a pitcher, she's only gotten better. I know her numbers have gotten better over the years, and it'll be fun to see. She's committed to Johnson County Community College, back in my home. Joco, baby. I bet a lot of people just roll their eyes and hate it, and they hate me now because I said I'm from Joco. Anyways, she's committed there, and I expect her to have a big year. The Vikings also get a star back in Rosalie Schneider as well. The junior was one of the leading hitters on the team last year, and she could straight up swing it, man. Team leader in home runs and batting average. I'm sure she'll be a factor for this upcoming season. They get junior Gracie Moe back as well. Expect another stellar year from her. She played really well last year. So, yeah, the Vikes did lose a lot. The Vikes did lose a lot of good players, but they also retained a lot of good players. So, I'm pretty optimistic about the Northwest Topeka Vikings.
Northwest. Moving on to, I don't know which direction this is from Topeka, but it's in Tecumseh. Shawnee Heights is bringing back a lot of young pieces this year. The Thunderbirds will move forward after graduating some out-of-this-world standouts such as Deja Gardenhire, Araya Dirks, Taryn Dial, and Abby Schultz. So sorry if I butchered any of those names. I am just getting into the Shawnee County softball this year, so kind of
No,
missed out on your prime. But
it's okay. And I think Shawnee Heights is east.
East. Okay.
Yeah, because
Makes sense.
Missouri, we're gonna
Makes
have
sense.
this conversation again. So from where I'm standing, Missouri is that way.
Mhm.
Colorado is that way. Nebraska is behind me, and Oklahoma is in front of me. So
Cornbread.
from where I'm at, I go towards Missouri to get to Shawnee Heights. So that's how I
Okay.
know
So it's East. There you go.
it's. Man, they got a freshman phenom last year, and Grace Proctor really took the county by storm a year ago. She was a first team all Shawnee County last year, just as a freshman. As sophomore year this year, I expect the sophomore splash. Obviously, with a really prestigious first team list that was made last year for that all Shawnee County team, that's an enormous thing for Shawnee Heights to get that young of a player back, um, who could have another stellar year. So good for them. Good for Grace Proctor for having such a great first year, and she's able to come back and kind of only get better from here. So that should be really fun to see. With juniors like Allie Adams and Carlin Bowman and Annie Morgan returning as well, Shawnee Heights can make some noise this year. I know they're missing a lot of those pieces that you just mentioned with Deja, Araya, Taryn, and Abby Schulte, but I think that they can be as good as they want to be this year. I think they have some really good young players that have that experience now, and then you have Grace Proctor kind of leading the way there. So, yeah, I don't see why not Shawnee Heights. Why not Shawnee Heights? I guess that's what I'm trying to say is why not? They could have a
Why
big
not?
year.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why not? Yeah, you mentioned Shawnee Heights is going to miss some pieces. I don't think there is a bigger piece to miss than Topeka High's Nigel Kennedy, who is doing great things at Stanford. I see things on ESPN. I see things. I mean, she's just dominating over there. But yeah, Topeka High, they are back-to-back state champs for a reason. It's not just Nija. That was a good team as well. They do lose some key starters to graduation in the state run as well with Amaya Kane and Elisa Joyce. But luckily for them, they do retain some great players as well.
I mean, there's not much to, Nija is Nija. Naj is Naj, as they say. She is, oh man, watching her I mean, I covered a lot of Topeka High softball last year, and that was one of the joys I've had in my very, very, very short journalism careers is watching Nija pitch. But they like you said, it doesn't take one person to win two state titles, and they lose three key players, but bring back a lot of that core part of that team. So don't count them out, man. Like I know people are ready to count them out. That's what you get for being on top all the time is people want to count you out so quickly. But don't do it. That'd be very dumb on your part because they have a really good team, man. Let's start out with senior Addison Carroll. I shouldn't even mention her name. Everybody should know who Addison Carroll is, but I'm going to do it anyway. She gets one more crack at it for a third state championship before she goes play D1 softball at Illinois. I know you're a Nebraska fan, but you're going to have to support her no matter what. Addison, one of the best defensive infielders in the entire state of Kansas. Carroll is just as dangerous at the plate as she is on defense. She was a big part in why they kept on dancing last year in the state tournament. Don't leave any junk. Don't leave anything silly in the middle of the plate, or that sucker is bye-bye. That is long gone. If you leave anything junky down the middle, Addison Carroll is going to crush it, and you're going to cry yourself to sleep. They also get a great catcher back as well. Alicia Alvarez, the KCK college commit. That is one tough nut to crack. That is one tough cookie behind the plate. Um, not a lot of balls get by her. She's not afraid to be bold, kind of take the hit, step in. Just a beast behind the plate, man. She's incredible behind there. She really was one. Didn't get the talk that Nisha and Addison and a couple other players got last year, but she was just as important to that team. Topeka High also gets Jamara Benning, Quincy Smith, McCall Beal, and much more. And they'll be back. I mean, this is a good team. This is a really, really good team. And I know kind of touch on my point earlier about not counting them out because you shouldn't. Um, when I was at that state championship when they beat Washburn Rural last year, Addison Carroll told me last year that people didn't think we would make it back here and win. I'm quoting this, by the way. People didn't think we would make it back here and win. We weren't going to listen to them. We proved them wrong. That is who we are with our character. We are champions again. Imagine if she gets to say that again for a third year before she goes off to Illinois. I'm just saying, don't count this team out because they lose a generational talent in Nija Candy. I mean, you can't argue that. Back to back Kansas Gatorade Player of the Year, a gazillion accolades. She's pitched a no hitter already at Stanford. I
Twice,
mean,
I think, right?
twice. Yeah, two no hitters already. She's one of the greatest athletes Kansas high school sports have ever seen. So losing her, obviously, oof, big loss. But they got a lot coming back. So keep the Topeka High Trojans in mind when you're talking about the 6A title race. That's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because there's some really good teams there.
Yeah, it's gonna be tough for sure. Finally, wrapping it up in the softball department with Washburn Rural, who should be considered, if not the favorite, one of the favorites at state this year for many reasons. Junior Blues retain one of the best pitchers in the nation, go Big Red, as well as bringing back some key bats as well.
Oh, your Nebraska heart has to be happy that you get the last year of the Nebraska signee and Emerson Cope getting national recognition, which is awesome to see our local athletes get. She gets the national recognition that she deserved from Max Preps. I think they named her the best softball pitcher in the state before the season started. So awesome for her. But kind of like how I mentioned with Topeka High, it's like I got to see some really generational talented players last year, and Emerson Cope was one of them. I mean, it was Nija Candy and Emerson Cope in the state championship, 1-on-1 in the circle. It was a pitcher's duel between the two of them, and it couldn't have ended the season better. Um, all year long, Cope was pitching no-nos with ease. Couldn't hit her. But if you couldn't hit her, she went to the plate and hit you. She was hitting dingers like it was nobody's business. And she did a really good job at embarrassing the state's best athletes with ease last year. And I think I saw it in person. The way that she just dominated everybody, especially in that 6A state tournament with some really good teams, and she made it look easy. It just reminded me that she's probably the best pitcher in the state to look out for this year. And with her in the circle and in the plate, Washburn Rural has a very good chance of finishing that job and winning that state title this year. And I think with got a great coach in Elizabeth Stover, who I know pretty well, and she does a great job with that group every year. But they do lose some really significant pieces to that puzzle that made it that far last year at the runner-up at the 6A state championship. KU shortstop Campbell Bagshaw, they lose her. They lose Ryan Rapp, who I think is at Highland Community College. They lose Bailey Dial. I think she was a first league all county last year. I think she might have been all state as well. You lose Trina Whitmore and Michaela Herring as well. And that's tough. That's definitely tough, but they don't lose everybody. They bring back Piper Titsworth in the circle, Casey Bath, who can really swing it, and there's some others that a lot of freshmen that I saw last year and sophomores that really played well. Should make this team, the horse that it is, the horse that was last year. I know losing Campbell in that leadoff spot is tough, and losing some of those other players are tough, but they got some really good players back as well, so they should be fine. And those younger players getting significant innings last year really helped, I think, going forward. And if Topeka High and Washburn Rural met in that 6A state championship for part 2, I wouldn't be surprised at all. But when I was covering that 6A state tournament, that hot weather all week, I think I was there all 2 or 3 days or whatever it was. And when I figured out that those two were going to meet after winning their semifinal games, I was like, oh, this is like the biggest reward of my life. I was like, we get two of the teams that I cover 1-on-1, Topeka versus Topeka. I'm gonna be sad for whoever loses, but I'm the big winner here.
There you
There
go.
might be a loser, but I'm the big winner here. But anyways, I digress. None of my personal feelings, but yes, Washburn Rural gonna be a great team yet again. And as Caleb said, go Big Red.
Go Big Red.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep.
I think I have actually. Hold on. Go Big Red.
Oh, okay, okay. You know,
I was prepared for this episode.
I have a red pen from the Gateway Arch National Park in St. Louis, Missouri,
And a red shirt.
and my Kevin Owens shirt, WWE.
Here is me and my family at a Nebraska game. So go Big Red.
Snap. And featured a few episodes ago, I have my Chiefs red scarf here too.
Oh, that's enough. That's enough. We don't need any of that. Come on.
No more red. Go
Go
Big
Big
Red.
Red. Go Big Red. All right, let's get to it. Babe 5, you know what it is. You know what the deal is. You know how good it is. You know how amazing this segment is. Let's get to it.
Award-winning segment. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Dang.
We did it again. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. God.
I'm going to beat you this time.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Okay.
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
All right. You got me. You got me.
Yep. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
Yes.
Oh, okay. It goes to best of 3 every time. Have you noticed that?
No. No. That goes.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh, God. I knew you were gonna go scissors. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. I knew you're going scissors again. I
No,
knew
you
it.
didn't, or you would have chose rock.
I digress. Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh my lord, we're doing it. Oh,
All right. All right. All right.
all right. Don't choose scissors.
Eyes closed.
Rock, paper, scissors, shoot. Oh no. Oh, you actually didn't choose scissors. That was an intense game of rock, paper, scissors, man.
Man, that was intense. That was intense for sure. But once again, the champ is here. All right, here we go. My number 5, Fave 5.
Yeah.
I don't think we mentioned this. We are doing winter sports again. I think we mentioned it last episode. But if you didn't watch last episode, first of all, finish this episode and then go watch last episode. I think it'll be on your screen on the end screen. And then but we're doing winter sports recap again. This is the last time we're going to talk about winter sports for a specific segment. So congratulations to everybody that participated in winter sports. This is your last hurrah right here. My number 5, Kiki Smith. We talked about her a ton from Topeka High. She was a baller, pure bucket on the court, but don't sleep on her defense as well. She'll rip you right up. She was a finalist for Defensive Player of the Year in her class while averaging near 20 a game. You can't beat it. Congratulations. You made the list.
Can't beat it at all. I think Kiki Smith was one of the great athletes that to come out of Topeka High, and that's saying a lot because Topeka High has a storied history of great athletes, and Kiki Smith was just a baller, man. She was just so fun to watch. I wish her luck on wherever she decides to go to next. I can't wait to watch her at the next level because I know she's going to do great. My number 5, speaking of next level, then we're going to go with Brooklyn DeLay from Washburn Rural. Kentucky volleyball signee, signed the same day as Go Big Reds Emerson Cope. But she was as good on the court for basketball. And okay. She's great. She's great at both. She's great at both is what I'm trying to say. But she was so great that she made my favorite 5 winter athletes list, part 2. But awesome in the paint, automatic bucket down there. She had some great moves. She could set her teammates up as well. And You know what I love so much in the game of basketball is when really tall people can hit threes. And
Oh,
Brooklyn hit some threes as a post player hitting threes. That's my favorite thing about basketball is when the big post gets 3-point buckets. Great rebounder, great shot blocker, 3-point shooter, great free throw shooter. You name it, Brooklyn Delay has done it. But just another one of those athletes where it's like, man, I can't believe I covered Brooklyn Delay's career. Like what a cool thing for us to do. But yeah, she's got to make the list, man. Has to.
yeah, of course, of course. Great pick. My number 4. We're staying with the next level because Joe Otting is going to the next level, not for our winter sport, but for fall sport.
Yes.
Notre Dame football signee earned first team All County honors in both football and basketball for the second straight season. Shout out to him, walking double double whenever he touched the court. And you know me, I love myself a double double. So
McDoubles
oh,
are so good. Yeah. Shout out to Rudy too, by the way. Great movie. Notre Dame. If you don't know, you should watch it because it's really good.
overrated in my opinion, but I digress.
That hurts, but I digress here. My number 4. My number 4. We're gonna do some rolling here. We're gonna do some bowling here. We're gonna go with Katie Price from Northwest Topeka's own Seaman Vikings bowling team. Katie Price ended her great career with a second place individual finish at the 5A through 1A state tournament with a 637 series. That is really good. She helped Seaman earn a third place team trophy this year. They won a state title the year before because of her efforts throughout the year. She bowled a 527 series this year at the UKC tournament. She bowled a 505 at regionals, and she was a big part in the Vikings winning both of those team titles in the UKC and regional tournaments. So, yeah, Katie Price, another star we're gonna miss covering, but she was phenomenal this winter and the winter before that, and everything else to come before that. But she deserves not only to be on this list, but to get every accolade that she deserves because Katie Price was just that good. But
Yeah.
Katie Price, you just made the list.
Mm-hmm. We've been on the topic of next level. I got a next level name for you. One of the best names in Shawnee County, Ricardo Carraza.
Kraza.
It's just so cool, man. So cool. But he's a stud swimmer for Shawnee Heights. So he won three medals in the class 5A through 1A state meet, finishing 8th in the 100-yard freestyle, and was on Shawnee Heights 4th place 200 medley relay and 6th place 200 free relay. Won 3 gold medals in the city meet and the UKC conference championships, including a pair of individual wins. Shout out to Ricardo Carraza.
I found a tie next to my desk, and I figured it'd be, since I should have put this on before we started here, but since we're doing some Fave 5 stuff, I figured if we're gonna do
Gotta
it, we
be
might as well.
professional.
Yeah, you do this for work all the time. You're a TV guy. Yeah. Is this how it works? You pull it up and
I will be honest.
I'm done.
I have never worn a tie for KSNT. It's the truth. I'm a polo guy.
Interesting.
Sorry, Jesse.
Interesting.
If you're
Well,
watching this, I
file a
apologize.
complaint right now for KSNT's website. Okay. Anyways, we're gonna go to my number 3 here. We're going to the pool, just like you with Ricardo Carraza. My number 3 spot, I'm gonna go with Jackson Cowden from Topeka High, the diver, the sophomore. He won his second straight city championship in the 1-meter diving for the Trojans. He claimed his first Centennial League championship this year. Cowden advanced to the 6A diving finals for the second straight year as well. Posted a 10th place finish in the 6A meet over in Johnson County this year. Cowden is a stud. He can jump, he can dive, he can do whatever he wants. I heard he did an interview with our radio station 580 WIBW. He did interview and he said that kind of the journey was interesting for him. He kind of just accidentally stumbled upon diving. But he credits gymnastics for kind of helping him with flexibility and stuff like that. So I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, Jackson Cowden, you're a stud. You made the list. What can I say?
Legit, legit, legit. Let's get back to the lanes. Josh Hammonds from Washburn Rural, bowling stud. Finished his high school career with a fourth place individual finish in the Class 6A state tournament, bowling a 725 series, helping lead the Junior Blues to a state team championship by 135 pins over Olathe Northwest. Just full on domination. He finished second individually in the 6A regional competition with a 717 series and bowled a 628 series in the Centennial League meet for team champion Rural. Shout out to Josh. You made the list.
Shout out to Josh, man. What a cool guy.
What
He
a
was
guy.
so good this year. Rural was so good this year. Like that
As
4 monster was just amazing for Washburn Rural this year. All right, so is it my number 2 now? I think since you went,
yes,
I'm looking around the room, it looks like that it's my turn this time. My number 2, we're going to the Charger Dome for this one. We're gonna go with Xavier flipping Alexander. That guy was so good this year. Shooting guard, 6'1", stepped in some key moments, really helped the team out. Very unselfish guy, aggressive 3-point shooter, an intense player on the floor. If you're a college and you're looking for a hard worker, a team player, a guy that just gets it done, he could score with efficiency. I think he had 53 made 3-pointers this year. Go check out Xavier Alexander's highlight reel. I recommend you follow him at Twitter as well. Don't have the username on the top of my head. Just search Xavier Alexander or go to my Twitter and find him somewhere. But Xavier Alexander, awesome this year, straight up. I think he had 15.8 points a game. Shared the cookie around a little bit. I think he had about 4 assists a game as well. Got about 4 rebounds per game as well. But the guy was phenomenal this year. He had a great career. Being a senior, he had a great career with Rick Bloomquist and the Topeka West Chargers. Cap to you, Xavier Alexander, for a great career. But you got to end off making my list, man. You got to do it.
have to.
Yeah.
Someone we've talked about a lot this year, staying on the basketball court. Someone I plan to talk a lot more about, I'm sure. Mackenzie McDaniel from Silver Lake, the 6'1" junior, automatic bucket down low. One of the most dominant forces in the state, but definitely in 3A as well. And I love it. You gotta love a good double-double. And she was another walking double-double machine. And shout out, look out, don't worry, she'll be back. Congratulations.
One more year of
Unless she wants to do the whole Ty Weber super senior thing, and then she can come back for another year.
Oh man, but yeah, congratulations for a heck of a year to Mackenzie McDaniel. She can get 20 points in seconds. Like if she had the right matchup opportunities, and she great teammates with McKinley Kruger throwing her down the ball, Mariah Farmer, Cabrin Kruger, who else? Kaylin Haney, Kaylee Dyder. I was there for that whole state tournament in Hutchinson, so like I got the roster in the back of my head, man. Taylor Ross, another great post player, but she's graduating, so Mackenzie McDaniel will definitely miss that high post action. But Mackenzie McDaniel's got to be number 1 on your list, man. If she wasn't a number 1 on yours, she might have been number 1 on mine because she was one of the most dominant forces in all of Shawnee County this winter. But yeah, congratulations, Mackenzie, for making your list, man. That's cool. You know what's funny about this? We're going to stay in the Mid-East League for my number 1 pick here. Crazy stuff. We're going to the dog pound this time. We're staying on 24 Highway here. We're going to go with the queen of defense. That is Kinsey Pirine. Kinsey Pirine is good at what she does in the game of basketball and all the other sports that she does, because I think she's like a 45 sport athlete as well. Kinsey Pirine was on the state either 1 or 2 in the state leaderboard all year. I know she was number 1 in steals per game. She possibly could have been number 1 or number 2 in assists per game. And when she needs to go get a bucket, she can get it with ease. There was an instance that popped in my head when I was making this list on who should be my number 1. And the moment that popped in my head was the double overtime win against Rock Creek when 2 of Rossville's key leading scorers went out due to foul trouble. She put the team on her back, had 10, 12, 10, 12, or 14 points in those overtime periods, and kind of had the game-winning moments and to snap a forgot 4-year, 5-year losing streak to Rock Creek, go to the playoffs, snap a gazillion year streak, it seems like, to a playoff win. I know it hasn't been that long, but and then they just kept on dancing. They fell to Silver Lake in the sub-state championship game. But Kinsey Pirine, she was a big reason why Rossville was so successful this year. And they had a great team, a great supporting cast as well. And she's just a junior, so she'll be back for another year. But Emma Mitchell, Riley Dick, Katie Spielman, Kinley Porter, Cheyenne Hahn. I mean, they had a really good team, but Kinsey Pirine just was swiping the ball like nobody's business this year. Good scorer as well, but she's number one on my list for obvious reasons. But congratulations to her on a successful year and that Rossville team as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. And with that, that is the end of our two-part spring sport preview. We loved bringing it to you guys, but just know I will not be doing another two-parter for a very long time. That is rough. That is rough. As much as I love talking about high school sports, man, two-parters are a lot of work. I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what.
A lot of balancing what time we can do it. You know, it's 10:02 p.m. as I'm looking at the time right now on a Monday night. You have a literal kid. I don't, but you know, still in school, and there's just a lot to plan here. But yeah, the two-parters. I love every single one of you that is watching this episode and supporting us and has supported us the whole way. But I don't want to do that again. I'm not going to lie. I don't want to do this for a long time at least. But we probably will have to do it sometime soon. But for now, we're not going to do a two-parter for a while. So just enjoy the bonus content. Dang it, just enjoy it. And if you've enjoyed it so much, you enjoyed the bonus content, please give this video a like. Give the last video a like if you want. If you could subscribe to the YouTube channel, shows us how well we're doing. Comment your feelings about how poorly this award-winning show did. And then, if you love us that much, go follow us on Twitter too.
Boom.
At right
That's
here.
right here.
Yes.
Right here. Make it
Yes.
easy for you. And then the last video is actually going to be, I think, like over there somewhere after we go away. So
Oh, yeah.
we're also
right.
making it easy for you in that department.
I am checking the Topeka High soccer score, our first spring sport event, and Topeka West and Topeka High played, and I think Topeka High won 9-0. And it looks like Avery Zimmerman, who we talked about yesterday. I called her Spark Plug yesterday. She had 1, 2, 3, 4 goals. Yeah. Okay. Well, Fave 5 spoiler for next week. Anyways.
Okay, well, that's how you end off an episode right there. Congratulations to the Trojans. Jeez Louise. All right. We'll see you guys next week.